There's an education killing clause in the Texas School Voucher SB2 bill regarding private schools that I don't see anyone else reporting on. There's been this big bad wolf knocking on the door, threatening to blow the building down for the last 30 years, and we basically gave him the key to the private school entrance. This clause: the comptroller may solicit and accept gifts, grants, and donations from any public or private source for any expenses related to the administration of the program, including establishing the program and contracting for the report. This allows the comptroller to not just accept private donations from any source for the administration of the school voucher program, but to actively solicit them. Lobbying already exists in the education system, but it's done externally rather than internally. Businesses can donate money to schools on a local level, but at the state level, donations typically go through the legislature or agencies like the TEA with reporting and oversight. In those cases, they're lobbying structured government systems with checks and balances in place, not a single administrator. This clause tells the comptroller to open the doors, invite the lobbyists in, no approvals, no pre-clearance, and behind closed doors. There are guardrails in place. The comptroller can't accept personal gifts, RFP guidelines must be followed, people can still request financial disclosure reports. And they can't make any changes to the official bill as it is outlined without sending it back to the legislature for approval. But everything else is for sale. The comptroller's administrative tasks that don't have appropriate guardrails are testing, vendors, advertising, and reporting. For testing, private schools participating in the program must take a nationally standardized test. But it is not stated which nationally standardized test, so the comptroller can pick which test to allow. If you want to go to a private school, you could fail unless you pass a standardized test that measures specific facets of Christianity. Some of these tests cover Bible knowledge, young earth creationism, which isn't just standard creationism, but also the denial of evolution, that the earth was created 6,000 years ago and that dinosaurs were on Noah's Ark and lived among us. Anti-Catholic ideology, homophobia, pro-segregation, historical revisionism, and Christian nationalist beliefs. Your private school choice may not be a religious one, but they could donate money to make these tests standard for any participating private schools. You could be Catholic and they could force your children to pass an anti-Catholic test to graduate. Vendors. An outside donor could influence the RFP considerations for vendors. They can make only specific history or science textbooks allowed, or only specific curriculum companies. This could remove evolution from secular private schools. It could remove slavery in the civil rights movements. It could be anti-Catholic or push specific religious ideals. It could push anti-vax propaganda, not just on modern vaccines, but also on their relationship to polio and smallpox, or pretty much any revisionist history or science you can imagine. Really dangerous stuff. Advertising and marketing. The comptroller is responsible for the advertising and marketing of the school voucher program, and donors could request specific ads. The main purpose of this is to make the program look better than it is, but they could also do things like claim you need to get your children out of failing public schools so that our own government is attacking our public school system. Run anti-disability ads about schools without disruptive special needs programs being better. Run religious supremacy or anti-Catholicism ads. These would be government-run ads, funded and requested by private donors, but run through the official government system. Reporting. They would also be able to run independent tests from within the system if they donated and requested. These tests could be vile, but there are guardrails preventing access to direct student records, and most of these reports they could have done anyway. The difference is that these will look like official reports and could be on things like schools with black students performing worse. By now you get the point. Will any of this happen overnight? Probably not, because they want you to switch schools first. They need you to become indebted to the program and have already taken quality and resources away from public schools so that you don't have a choice. After that, there's already specific language in this bill that allows them to overtake the private schools however they want. All it requires is a donation, and the bill specifically states that the comptroller is supposed to solicit these donations. Everyone's aware that school vouchers will raise taxes, hurt public schools, and everyone is aware that they're going to use government money to fund religious institutions. These are universal known facts, and if you don't know them, maybe look into it. You may not care about these things, but they are facts. But this is a ticking time bomb for private schools too. The purpose is not school choice. The purpose is controlling education, and your private school won't have a choice. They either accept the vouchers or they will have to fall in line with the requirements of the program that will be defined by the private donors. We need to get corruption out of our government, and this bill writes that corruption into law. You may think that this would never happen, that private donors wouldn't want to influence policy, or that the comptroller would refuse to let it happen. Maybe. But why include the clause asking for it without applying any direct guardrails? Do you trust that private businesses in our government are headed in a direction of less corruption?